Ethiopia stretch forth the hand unto God. Blessed be Jah, Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I liveth.
Greetings. Once again, I have the pleasure of interviewing Abuna Foxe, the author of over 15 books, Abuna of the Church of Haile Selassie I worldwide, head of the seminary at the Church of Haile Selassie I, international president of the Imperial Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, retired Rastafarian state chaplain for the Department of Correction, New York State, and also a Rastafarian activist for over 50 years. Good afternoon, Abuna.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Also, here I also have the pleasure of interviewing for the first time Brother Christopher Graham, also known as Abbot Eloi. He's the Abbot of the Church of Haile Selassie I in Jamaica, a retired Rastafarian chaplain also, international second vice president of the Imperial Ethiopian World Federation, one of the head teachers at the seminary at the Church of Haile Selassie I, and also a lifelong Rastafarian activist. Good afternoon, Brother Chris.
Majesty.
Majesty. To the left, I have, this is Brother Eugene, also known as Anayoa. Good afternoon, Brother Eugene.
Good afternoon.
And I'm Brother Bert. We're going to start this discussion. Go ahead, Brother Eugene.
The 50th anniversary of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, God, on the 21st of April 1966, was celebrated last year in Jamaica and has brought back to memory the atrocities of the government of Ethiopia since 1974, when they overthrew His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, God. These atrocities are the subject of this interview with the Abuna Foxe, overseer of the Church of Haile Selassie I, and the Abbot Christopher Graham, second in command. First topic is the abolition of the constitutional monarchy of ancient Ethiopia by the regime of the Derg in 1974. I would ask the Abuna and Brother Chris to comment on that. Abuna?
Yeah, in 1974, when the regime of Mengistu, the Marxist Leninist government, overthrew Haile Selassie government, 75 they established the abolition of monarchy in Ethiopia, and Mengistu make a statement that those creatures that came from heaven will never rule Ethiopia again. This was very blasphemous. And at the same time, it destroyed everything that have His Imperial Majesty God name on it. And this was sad, because 1936, His Imperial Majesty started in Geneva and different all small nation. And at the same time, had it not for Haile Selassie I, 1935 to 41, they gave him no Ethiopia. Mussolini would become Caesar, and the Pope become God, and Hitler would control Europe as a Führer. And at the same time, we sit back and watch our international countries saw the whole incident and did not lift a finger to Ethiopia. So it is very bad. And today, the Church of Haile Selassie I, in the 50th year anniversary of Haile Selassie in Jamaica, have to come back and speak to people about the whole incident, because they put Jamaica on trial. Because the mere fact that the government tried to erase anything His Imperial Majesty do, send a message to the Rastafarian people in Jamaica that they have to wake up and do something meaningful with a capital M in the interest of the restoration of the dynasty of Haile Selassie I and the restoration of monarchy, constitutional monarchy, compared to that of Britain, Spain, and Monte Carlo. And that is why today we sit back watching the whole world playing their own harp while Ethiopia burn.
Yes, the United Nations, another international organization, did not leave a finger. And all the world powers, they were in Ethiopia at the time, 1974, when His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I government was overthrown by the Derg, Majesty. And none of the international organizations or international churches or any other group did not say anything on the international scene concerning the overthrow of His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I government in Ethiopia. So we'll ask the world why and what is the world doing, especially the United Nations, in the interest of that restoration of the government of Emperor Haile Selassie I in Ethiopia. That is the agenda of we from the Church of Haile Selassie I and the Rastafarian community in Jamaica and worldwide.
Thank you, Brother Chris. Thank you. Brother Eugene?
Abuna, the blotting out of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I's name in all history and schools, so that anyone born after 1975 would not know anything about His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, God. Can you comment on this, please?
Well, first I would say this behavior is presumptuous. Not even Mussolini could do that for the 4 years he occupied Ethiopia. Yet the Derg, with their Stalinist support from Russia, do something like that. And what is so sad about it is that right now, the youth that born after 74, who is 40 years old now in Ethiopia, he is ignorant of his religious identity. And at the same time, the present government use Haile Selassie creation and give the world the belief that it's them who created. Like for argument's sake, the railway from Djibouti to Addis Ababa, University of Haile Selassie I, that a better church has been shown to the tourist people. And at the same time, the OAU, at the same time, Haile Selassie as a father figure of Africa who fought against British colonialism, his respect is not given. And we watch back and see the African nationalist government, Zimbabwe, Nyasaland, and all these places that His Majesty helped to give independent Kenya, South Africa. They don't speak about nothing. And at the same time, Mingish, who is living in Zimbabwe on his big ranch like a cowboy, and he should be charged by the International Court of Justice and go to prison.
True.
Because we have seen other African charged, other Caucasian people charged, and Mingish is living freely, yet nobody says anything about it. And what is so sad about it is that Ethiopia is official member of the World Council of Churches executive body, central body. And the strangulation of the patriarch Theophanos, we would believe that World Council of Churches would say something about it, like all the Coptic Pope in Alexander reject the present patriarch.
Yes, Ethiopia is not free today. Ethiopia is an empire under His Majesty government and constitution. So therefore that overthrow of that government, Africa has lost its sovereign right. The present government in Ethiopia today, they are trying to erase His Majesty's name from history. They fail to do it because of the Church of Haile Selassie I in the West. Today, we as Rastafarians in the West, we are fighting for that restoration in Ethiopia because we have no assistance from the world powers and the international organization, as I said before. We must consolidate our efforts today so that the world can know, because the international media also cover up the whole thing about the overthrow, and also the Ethiopian people, they have been stifled, they don't have any access to international communication. They're cut off from the world, and we know in the West, as Rastafarians, has no sort of contact with Ethiopia in terms of our liberation, restoration struggle. Because Ethiopia is in darkness. The world is in darkness now, just like 1935-41 to 1941, when Emperor Haile Selassie I liberated and restored Ethiopian government. So we cannot stop today. We have to make our example, just like Emperor Haile Selassie I's divine example, 1941, May 5th, liberation and restoration of Ethiopia. So we are not going to stop. Yes, we are aware that these people in Ethiopia are ignorant because they are born, most of them is born after 1974. So if you look at it, most of the people in Ethiopia or the population of Ethiopia has no history of Ethiopia. What is the curriculum in Ethiopia teaching if they are not teaching about Emperor Haile Selassie I who modernized Ethiopia and bring it to the world?
Well, Brother Chris, I'm very glad you touched on that, because one of the questions that we had here to ask you, because we know that His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, God, established all institutions in Ethiopia, the Ethiopian Airlines, railroads, trains. Now the Chinese are acting like they're the ones that created and brought that stuff to Ethiopia. Haile Selassie I University, they've taken out all the crown and glory of His Imperial Majesty. How do you really feel about that?
Well, I believe, sir, if it's not for the Church of Haile Selassie I, who is the vanguard and history of Ethiopia, those people in Ethiopia would not know anything about His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I and his history. And we would like to identify to the world that we in Jamaica, the Church of Haile Selassie I, and the Caribbean, and in this country, United States of America, we have a church in the United States of America, in Brooklyn, New York. We have a church in London, Church of Haile Selassie I, in Barbados, in Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago. So therefore, we are organizing ourselves so that we can maintain that name, because without that name we have no integrity, we have no sovereignty, and we have no human dignity, because the world turned our back on Ethiopia, just like 1935-41, the League of Nations, and today the United Nations turned their back on Ethiopia, and all the world powers and friends of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I turn them back on him again. In the name of collective security and international morality, the world is gone mad.
Wow.
Yes, the total confusion all over the world. Babylon system take over the whole thing. And the people in Ethiopia still linger, as I said before, in a ignorance and a darkness, without their history, without their emperor, and without their government. Okay. The true government. The government there today is a fake government, it's a bogus government.
Abuna, would you like to touch on the blotting out of His Imperial Majesty's name from all the institutions, school, he created the airlines, the railroads, all this?
What I would say to the Rastafarian and those people that have justice and integration, we must make Jamaica become the BATH, the Bath in Cardiff, where Haile Selassie I, God, sit and challenge the international government of the world, where him stay there and defeat fascist Mussolini. And what we have to understand is that, irrespective of what is taking place now, the ideas of man can be destroyed by force or propaganda, because 1916, 27th of September, Rastafari led the base of government known as modern Ethiopianism. And the Derg can never change that. 1 year, 1 month before the Bolshevik Revolution, we established that. What I could say to the people of the world today is that 1991 we saw perestroika come and destroy the wall of Babylon, Berlin, and destroy communism. And what I must say to my brother and sisters in Jamaica and in America is that you have drunk the wine of our fornication, because Revelation stated that the harlot that stood upon many waters have sent forth her wine and drunk the people of our fornication, and through that, tonight, the Rasta people who is in the church don't have no identity. And because lack of circle education is our problem. But the Church of Haile Selassie I is here as that vanguard. to bring back the restoration movement. And God and history is watching the whole thing, because irrespective, I repeat again, the ideas of man can be destroyed by force. If not, per striker will never come and destroy communism. And I'm warning the present government of Ethiopia, if you do not bring back the constitutional monarchy and restoration of the dynasty of Haile Selassie I, then God and history will record your judgment, because this will be the second time of the restoration. Because 35-41, Haile Selassie I bring back that restoration of the Solomonic dynasty.
True.
And I believe that if you is clever and you are thinking collective, then you should add back that to the Constitution of 94, 95, the restoration of the Solomonic dynasty and restoration of constitutional monarchy. That will not hinder you from work your Marxist Leninist concept, because we have seen where the president of Russia accept that he were baptized in Russian Orthodox faith, and accept that Russian Orthodox faith plays something in his life. So if he can make that statement, why you, with your presumptuous behavior, cannot make that same statement? You hear what I'm saying? Because the bear accept the leadership of the Russian Orthodox Church now. Because the president stated that he were baptized in that church and it influenced him. So why you, Mr. Prime Minister of Ethiopia, cannot make the same statement and reverse back time and give the Ethiopian people, young people, that religious identity and that pride in themselves? If not, you go and trouble Rasta people. Because this is those 30,000 people have been in detention now and the murder ain't taking place. If you turn back on, there's no question about that. Because their human rights and fundamental freedom is at stake. And we are looking upon the President of America, Mr. Trump, to make the same that he make in Israel and other parts of the world. And I would like him to look at Ethiopia again, and help the Ethiopian people to restore back the ancient glory that was given to them AD 332, the oldest Christian nation on earth, one of. Let us go back to the Byzantine theocracy, where Haile Selassie is classified as a vice-regent of Christ, the King, and the visible God on earth, like our AD 325, Constantine was recognized as the vicar of Jesus Christ. Give us that support that we can go forward today, His Majesty.
The historical speech of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, God, on the 21st of April 1966, in the Parliament of Jamaica, where he said that Ethiopians and Jamaicans are blood brothers. He gave a divine hope to the Rastafarian people, did it not?
Yes, because had not that statement made, then tonight would be lost. But the DNA show that we and Ethiopians are blood brothers. And we do not have to get no Ethiopian citizenship. Because if the Rastaman accept that citizenship document, and betray the trust of Haile Selassie I. Because we would have to sign with the fine print that support the present Derg in Ethiopia. So that speech is alive today as it was alive 1966, the 21st of April. That is why the 50th anniversary bring back memories. Memories that irrespective, I repeat again, the ideas of man cannot be destroyed by force.
Yes, Emperor Haile Selassie I said, modern Ethiopia must acquire the knowledge of state and its bureaucracy, so that in time to come one could use that knowledge to liberate oneself. Today, Ethiopian people and Rastafarian community worldwide must educate themselves on the knowledge of state, so we can consolidate that restoration movement to liberate Ethiopia from that government that is there today. That government today in Ethiopia does not represent church and state. The royal family of Ethiopia and the Orthodox Church of Haile Selassie I is under bondage, is in exile. The church is in exile. The royal family is in exile. So therefore, the Rastafarian must know who they are giving their allegiance to today concerning that matter of restoration of Ethiopia and that statement that Emperor Haile Selassie made in the Parliament of Jamaica in 1966. Because that statement showed that Ethiopia and Jamaica is one and the same, and the Ethiopian people in Ethiopia, we are the Ethiopians abroad. We are one blood, one DNA. And His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie first consolidated that when he speaks to the Parliament of Jamaica and the people of Jamaica in 1966 in April.
I will say again that we have two Bible statements. One is 2 Chronicles 7:10. On the 20th and 3rd day of the 7th month, Solomon sent people back to their tents to consolidate the child Melech the first of Queen of Sheba and Solomon, fulfilling Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. For unto us a son is born, that son is Melech the first, son of Queen of Sheba and Solomon. For unto us a son is given, Tafarai, Tafarai. And the government shall upon his shoulder, he shall call Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. The present government cannot change that. Chronicle identified that man for a longer time. The 20th and 30th of the 7th month, 23rd of July.
That date is in the Bible?
That day is in the Bible.
Oh, wow.
2nd Chronicle
7, verse 10.
7, chapter verse 10. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. For unto us a child is born. That child is Queen of Sheba, son, Simon and Queen of Sheba, son, that established the royal dynasty in Ethiopia and constitutional monarchy in Ethiopia. And for unto us a son is given, Tafarai, and shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. And during the year of the 18th century, I wept. But the elder said to me, Revelation 5:5, wept not. For behold, the child of Judah, let the root of the earth prevail. And it will come again, there's no question about it. God honestly is on Ethiopia's side. Because just here unto himself, that him have his son must inherit the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is where? Ethiopia. Because when you say Ethiopia, you say Haile Selassie first. When you say Haile Selassie first, you say Ethiopia. It cannot change, irrespective. So we are asking the international world and the President of America to assist Ethiopia in these dark ages. True. When they have thousands of people is in exile, thousands of people is in detention because of their human rights and fundamental freedom is being threatened.
We know that His Majesty in 1941 negotiated with the Coptic Pope of Alexandria, Egypt, for Ethiopians' own patriarch, to bring back Ethiopia's autonomy for the church, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. In 1948, 5 bishops of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church was consecrated in Egypt by the Coptic Pope. One of them was Abuna Foxe, who became the first Ethiopian patriarch. After his death in 1959, Abuna Theophilus became the first patriarch of Ethiopia to be consecrated on Ethiopian soil. At that time, Ethiopia was given back its ancient autonomy. This same patriarch was strangled with electrical wire in a public square by the Marxist Leninist regime currently in Ethiopia because he refused to support the separation of church and state. The World Council of Churches have not said anything about this. And we would like to hear from you, Abuna. What do you think about the silence from the World Council of Churches on this particular topic?
Well, I believe that the neo-colonialists, we have what called religious neo-colonialism is very rampant now. And it is sad because we saw where some Coptic Christians were murdered by the ISIS, and we were here of it. Every day it was on the news, but nobody heard of Abuna Theophilus. And I believe that same as how the League of Nations was destroyed, the same way the World Council of Church will be destroyed, because it found wanted. It is afraid to make statement, and that is wrong. But as I said before, that irrespective of the odds against we, I say tradition and custom must be modified if the world will survive. So the modification of the World Council of Churches, United Nations, is on trial. Because the League of Nations do the same thing, betray Haile Selassie Trust, God, 1936. And because of that, Haile Selassie I prophesied of the Second Great War. And today we have seen the same numbers being played, where the rights of the poor people is not respected. And we are calling on the United Nations again, and World Council of Churches again to make statement to bring back that restoration. And we are telling the present Ethiopian government that they must be careful, because the mere fact them abolish the monarchy in Ethiopia, they set a judgment against themselves, because Mussolini tried and them failed. The Backlash door tried and them failed in 1896. You understand what I'm saying? And it cannot continue this way, because the psalmist say, a seed shall born to inherit the kingdom of God. And Psalm 22:18 stated, a people who don't know of me will serve me and honor me. And we believe that God and history work through the Old Testament. And it will be seen that Solomon saw the sun move from over Israel, Jerusalem, and go to a different nation with Ethiopia. And you can't change that. You can't change that. The mere fact that made the first established constitutional monarchy in Ethiopia, because there was no king in Ethiopia, and when he returned to Ethiopia, with the Ark of the Covenant, he established a constitutional monarchy. You, the Derg, cannot change that. Things and time will tell for itself. Things and time will tell for itself. So I'm making a warning to the present government. If you want to survive, accept modification, which is the restoration of the government of Haile Selassie I.
The current Ethiopian Constitution that was ratified in 1994 to 1995 does not afford Ethiopian citizens any religious rights. What is your take on that, Abuna and Brother Chris?
Well, the Constitution of Ethiopia today is an embarrassment to Ethiopia, because Ethiopia has one of the world's greatest history. Its heritage of monarchy and become constitutional monarchy under Emperor Selassie I.
Okay.
On the 16th of July 1931, Emperor Selassie I of Ethiopia his first written constitution. The law, as a lawgiver, and 1955 again, reformed the constitution. So 1955, yes. So we are saying that the constitution today in Ethiopia, it separates church and state. It takes away the identity but for Ethiopia, the Ethiopian identity, them lose their identity through this constitution, and them have no religious rights, because the separation of church and state and the destruction of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Take out His Majesty's name out of the church and destroy the church totally. So we lose our identity through that church. It's through the church of Haile Selassie I today established today in the Western Hemisphere, that give us back that right, a sovereign right of Ethiopia. So the people now have no religious rights. The church have been destroyed, as I said before. So what do we have now? Who can we rely on? The church of Haile Selassie I maintain that name Haile Selassie I right now today.
There is no empire of Ethiopia anymore. The same state become so-called Democratic Republic, Federal Republic of Ethiopia. there's no empire. We is landlocked. We lost Eritrea.
True.
Without a seaport, we're not a nation anymore. We have to understand that. We lost it. Right now there's a problem between Egypt and Ethiopia and Lake Tanya, River Nile. All these things in the Jamaica language say that the government of Ethiopia eat more than it can swallow. You understand what I'm saying? The government of Ethiopia eat more food than what it can swallow. Because Ethiopia have trouble right now. It have about 30,000 people in detention and they're asking for them human rights, they want them land. Right now, Ethiopia is in trouble and cannot be solved when the government accept that tradition and custom must be modified. Don't make Paris striker come and destroy Ethiopia, boy, let him be around Ethiopia. Give back Ethiopia with their rights and fundamental freedom. And educate the youth them of His Majesty Haile Selassie I, because without Haile Selassie the first name go back in the Constitution, there is no Ethiopian, there is no empire.
Sure.
Ethiopia is a backstreet country in Africa right now.
Sure.
Irrespective, we have to accept that with the free colonialists in 1896, we never be a colony, and tonight we are worse than a colony because we are walking with a begging bowl. And that is why tonight the Church of Haile Selassie I is calling on Ethiopian people and those that have just integration to assist the Church of Haile Selassie and its objective, which is restoration, economic liberation of Ethiopia.
Thank you, Abuna. Brother Eugene, is there anything
Yeah,
more you want to add?
just to finalize, this is the reason why all the things that we've said here is the reason why the 50th anniversary of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, God, visit to Jamaica in 1966 is so fundamental to Rastafarians and people all over the world at this time, because we are in a time when the Ethiopian government is trying to erase all history, all the name of Emperor Haile Selassie I from history. And so, in conclusion, Abuna, could you please make a comment about what they're trying to do and the 50th anniversary of His Majesty's visit, where Prince Ermias, his grandson, came in representation for him?
What I would say is that God bless Jamaica. Why? Because the 13th of November 2013, the Church of Haile Selassie I was incorporated in the Parliament of Jamaica as a bill to ensure that the name Haile Selassie I will ever praised forever. People blessing his name, people marrying his name. So irrespective of what took place 74, the 50th anniversary revitalized back His Imperial Majesty statement and give us strength and hope that there will be a second restoration as 1935-41. And we ask His Imperial Majesty, God, Haile Selassie I, to bless us, give us long life and good health and strength that we can carry this struggle continue until we win, because there's no question about it. If we don't get our rights, then His Majesty say the world will go down in blood, because we expect America to lead. Because Kennedy said that Haile Selassie place in history is assured. So that is why we are saying we are calling on the American system and the government of America to assist the Ethiopian people who is in detention tonight, that their voice is heard. Because Ethiopia to the Rastafarian people is like South Korea. And the government is like North Korea. And we expect the American to assist Ethiopia as though it assist South Korea. Because if that does not happen, then we have a problem. Because if you light a fire in North Africa, Ethiopia, it will burn Europe, it will burn America. So give thanks for this interview And may Jah bless the whole thing. And we do not want nobody go away with any misunderstanding that we are anti this or we are anti that. What we are doing is to defend His Imperial Majesty, dynasty, and our survival on earth as Ethiopian people. Because His Majesty stated that Jamaican and Ethiopian are blood brothers, and that established that DNA. We cannot change. So give thanks again. Blessed be Jah.
Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I.
Abuna, I want to thank you again for your time, be able to sit down and speak with us on this subject. Our brother Chris, also, I want to thank you for your time,
Give thanks.
being able to sit down.
Give thanks.
Brother Eugene, also, I want to thank you for your time, be able to sit down and have this discussion.
And brother Pilot, Sidney,
Man.
Brother Panther,
and brother
and Abba,
thanks again.
thanks again.
Imperial Majesty.